We are all on our own unique journeys. No one has your business. No one has your husband. No one has your kids. No one has your past history, your trauma, your health issues, your issues where, you need to get freedom. We're all unique. How do you do it all? What do you even do all day? Can you show me how to do it? Can it really work for anyone? For me? These are the questions that I get every time I speak or teach somewhere and share about my life. I even get these questions from friends that are a little unsure of what I do. And that is why I started this whole Momprenista Life brand, because I was constantly getting questions about how I execute living this Momprenista lifestyle. One of the biggest things that makes a difference for our family are the systems that we use in our home, not just our businesses. So we teach businesses how to focus on implementing systems that allow them to position themselves as a scalable company. But one of the things I learned years ago is that I also need to address high priority tasks in my home to alleviate the overwhelm that I was feeling and my family was feeling. So in a business, when I talk about high priority tasks, that is something that makes money, keeps the lights on, and those are high priority tasks that you want to make sure that you have systems written down for. How that translates over to the home is that you need to figure out what are high priority tasks that in your home that need a system written down for them. And those high priority tasks are usually things that meet basic needs and keep everyone emotionally stable, including me. All right. So I'm going to share how I implemented systems in my home and what I use. And here's what I tell people all the time. When I share the system with my clients, I say, you and I are going to take this and sit down and we're going to make it work for you. Because if you haven't heard me say it in an episode yet, we are all on our own unique journeys. No one has your business. No one has your husband. No one has your kids. No one has your past history, your trauma, your health issues, your issues where, you need to get freedom. We're all unique. And I think that's one of the downfalls in a lot of this online space. Well, I know it is. People find a system and they try to put it in their lives and they're trying to copy and paste instead of copy, paste, adjust to their own unique needs. So I don't want you to copy a business of mine and have the same business because you're going to serve people differently than I serve people, even if we're in similar markets. In the same way, I don't want you to copy a system I have for my home and you have the same system. I want you to figure out what works for you and what helps serve you best and your family best so that you can lead well at home and in your business. So you take the idea and the structure and the bones of it, and then you form it into what you need to work for you, okay? And here's the other thing that I want to throw out there. This is not saying that, we're going to put things in place and have a perfect life and everything will flow smoothly and you'll have normal operation from this point forward. Y'all, normal is a setting on a washing machine. You're a mom. Things are going to constantly be ebbing and flowing in your life. Now, what happens is most people look at this and say, I just can't make a plan because nothing ever works. When in reality, the opposite is what's true. So several years ago, I started doing a talk called Defensive Motherhood. And the premise of this talk was that I had been reacting to everything in my life, including my motherhood journey, instead of making plays that kept me on offense and kept the ball in my court. So what I found in that was that there were a lot of other moms out there who were like me and were always reacting to things in their lives. And that is honestly a huge problem for a lot of reasons. Not only does being in that cycle over and over again on a regular basis keep you on a hamster wheel with anxiety high, it puts you in a place for unhealed trauma to rule your life without you even knowing it. So I can say for me and for a lot of other women that I know, putting these systems in place in their homes changed their lives on an exponential level. Now, my journey of getting to this place where things became more manageable for my family and my businesses, that took about 8 years for me. And like I said, that doesn't mean everything is perfect every day. I'm just like any other mom. And I think that's part of the beauty of me actually getting to do this Momprenista life journey with you is because I'm right here in the thick of it with you. I'm not someone who's had kids grown and graduated and out of the home. I'm not someone who just has one kid trying to figure it out. I have 4, ages 2 to 12, and it still gets messy because when you're a mom, You're the one who's dealing with, the stomach bug running through the entire house. Kid one gets it, and then it takes a couple, 3 days, and kid two gets it, and then takes a couple, 3 days more. And, kid three gets it. And then a few days later, kid four gets it. And then your husband gets it. And then the babysitter gets it. So she's off work for a week, and then you get it too, but you're the glue trying to hold everything together. So hopefully your husband is better to help take care of you by the time you get it. But that's not always the case. So then all of a sudden, both of you are puking in the floor together and cleaning up other people's puke. And I get it. I've been there. Y'all, I even got stuck in a hotel room in this situation once. But I can tell you that it is a whole lot less messy with 4 kids and making a plan than it was with 2 kids and constantly being on defense all the time without a plan. So, what is it that has made this so much easier, and what is my system? Well, for starters, I had a business consultant years ago tell me that my pretty little planner I had wasn't a life plan. And if I really wanted to build an empire, that I needed to plan what that was going to look like. Because, I'm a spreadsheet person. And so I started taking all of this stuff and putting it into spreadsheets, and took it from a calendar, then to a spreadsheet, and then it became a system. And so now I have the sync system, and that is what I use to plan my life. That is what my husband uses to plan his life. That's what my clients use to plan their lives. And the difference that it makes to get you traction, to keep you focused on walking in your purpose and what your goals are and where you want to go in this life, it's amazing. So that same consultant also told me that he scheduled every aspect of his life, and I thought that was ridiculous. Then God told me that I needed to do it for me. So I did. And it made things so much easier. So my day is literally scheduled out by every 30 minutes in my home. My home has a schedule. I have a schedule for the entire day. Now, some days we stick to the schedule 100% on point, checking it off all day long. And other days I have to call an audible for some reason. But it's so easy to detour into something that is still purposeful and so on point that, you don't get the feeling that you didn't accomplish something. There wasn't a catastrophic loss in your schedule for that day. So now some of these audibles are called because I was so productive the week before, and now I don't need to spend my time doing what I had budgeted to do this week. And some of these audibles are called because the flu wants to rent a room in our home during, a new business launch. Either way, I can tell you that life before the plan was so much more inefficient and ineffective than life after the plan. And life after the plan includes 2 more kids. Life after the plan includes stepping into more businesses. So know that it matters. And in my household, we have a schedule. I note my high priority task, and I have procedures written down for my high priority task in my home. So in our home, a high priority task is laundry, because people have to wear clothes, right? And because sheets have to get clean. So that's an example of a high priority task. So when you walk into my laundry room, not only do I have a whiteboard on the wall that has a laundry schedule on it by the day and notes to remember for anyone who is helping me with our laundry in our home. That includes my 12-year-old, my husband, my mother-in-law, or someone who works in our home. Those notes are there to help, and it matters because otherwise, people are coming in, interrupting me all day long, asking how they can help. And if I say you can do laundry, then they say, how would you like me to do it? And so in addition, I have a binder of procedures for each area of laundry that has to be done. So my procedure for towels walks through the fact that you have to get your towels from all 4 bathrooms and the pool area and the yard if kids have been playing with water balloons, and that you have to wash them on the sanitize cycle. And that you can't overload the washer. And let me tell you, this matters. This is why this is a high priority task, because, you're sitting there, you're thinking about laundry, and this is so easy. Why do you need this to be a high priority task? Well, it matters because someone who works in my home might not know to put the towels on sanitize. And even if I tell them the day that they start or the first week that they start, at some point they'll forget. And if they look at this procedure, they know hands down that they're supposed to put the towels on a sanitize cycle, and that matters because My kids will leave towels laying out by the pool without me seeing them or anyone else because, they're around the corner for days. I'll tell them to pick them up and they'll inevitably forget a towel that's out there. And so then I get out of the shower and I get a towel to dry off with, and it smells mildewy and moldy and yucky. And then I feel a need to take a whole other shower, and I usually do. But another example is my mother-in-law will take clothes out of the dryer when they're still damp and hang them up in her home to dry. In our home, that doesn't work because we live in Florida. We live in Tennessee part of the time too, but there's lots of humidity in Florida. And so when you do that, our clothes get mildewy and they get a smell to them. And so then I have to rewash them all over again. And so these things matter to save my sanity and to have, us not being running around as a stinky family. So this keeps my laundry on point. Every area of my home has a binder if it's a high priority task. And so you have to define those for you like I had to define them for me. The other thing is we have a daily schedule in our home up where everyone can see it. We have a skylight, which I love, and I think everyone should have one in their home. But it's a digital form calendar that keeps our schedule. You can get the apps on, my 12-year-old has it on his tablet. My husband has it on his phone. I have it on my phone. Our babysitters have it on their phone. And so anyone can access it anytime and see what is going on in that moment. And they know what needs to be done for the day. They know what's left to be done for the day. And so this stops people from coming to me asking, what's next? How can I help you? Because they know how they can help. They know what's next and saying, do you want me to do this? Because it's written down. People can see that they can help you out. And so trying to walk out this Momprenista life, it matters for you to steward those around you well. So the other thing that this does is it helps limit your automatic reactions. When you're playing defense, and if you have ever walked through trauma, you know that damage that can be done when you're left to your own devices to just always react to your life. And so it's when you're solely based on reaction instead of being proactive and planning things out, it leaves too much room for damage to be done to those around you. And you want to break those chains. You want to stop those things from flowing from generation to generation. So put something in place that helps you do that and get healing from trauma. The other thing that we do is we try to do meal prep, but our meal prep is kind of different from other people. It's not like normal meal prep. We don't pack lunches for everyone for the whole week. So I will just grind enough flour that I know I'm going to make a batch of muffins, or I'm going to make some cookies or breakfast cookies or bagels or something, And I'm usually baking a loaf of bread or doing dough almost every day for something. And so I will put what I need in the bread machine and I will set my timer, and then I'll be able to wake up the next morning for dough for cinnamon rolls, or I'll come home to pizza dough in the afternoons after we've been at co-op all day. And so I will try to plan and meet the need for the meals that I have. And my husband will fix meat for the meals. He's the griller. He's the expert grill master. I am not. And so I'll say, I need this much of steak, or I need some venison sausage, or I need some chicken for this thing. And so he'll usually fix that in bulk for me for the week. And then I have it for the rest of the week to put in meals. And my husband and I typically have a planning session every week. So he knows what I need, and we'll plan out the rest of the week's needs, from like Saturday night or Sunday for the rest of the week. And so once we get that planned out, everything goes into the calendar so that everyone has access to it and everyone can see, what is going on. And if an audible is called, it's so easy to adapt from that schedule. And so right now I'll share my schedule with you. My schedule looks like that. On Sundays, we typically have a fun day and we're either on the boat or we're going to the park or, somewhere else fun. And we also do homeschool science lessons on Sundays a lot of the time because that's my husband's department. Because he just comes up with the greatest, coolest stuff, right? And so then on Mondays, I'm up at 6 a.m. I do my stretching, go for a walk, do some Bible study, have my prayer time, and then I'll get ready for the day. So it's really funny though, because you'll see on my schedule that it notes whether I'm getting ready full throttle, which means hair, makeup, knowing what outfit I'm going to wear that night or whatever. And then you have days where I'm not getting ready full throttle, like I'm not putting makeup on, because we're just going to be at the house all day. And so I'm going to be doing things that we're going to be getting messy, and I don't need full throttle makeup. And my kids will be like, oh, it's a full throttle day, right? But Monday is a full throttle day because I know I'm going to be going out for kid dates that night. And the kids are usually up between 7:30 and 8 that morning. And if I'm not finished getting ready, I will hang out and talk to them while I'm still finishing up. And then we do whatever I have planned for breakfast that day. During breakfast, we usually have our thankful time. And this is our prayer time as well as a family. And then we clean up for breakfast and we start lessons and chores for the day. So from about 8:30 until 11, I'm doing lessons with some kids while other kids are doing chores. And then we switch out at various times. And then we're usually having lunch around 11. So from 11 to noon is lunchtime. And usually from noon to 1, we resume other lessons and then the baby goes down for a nap. So the kids usually have some free time, some independent play, and some reading time. And then somewhere between putting the baby down and getting to work, I will take an 8-minute nap. And if you've never heard of that, you should check it out. Because the theory is that if you lay down with your feet up for at least 8 minutes and take a power nap, that this helps your body reset and sustain. So this is supposedly what Navy SEALs do. And I've not tested and researched it out that much, but I tried it and it worked. And y'all, taking a nap in the middle of the day like this recharges me on a level that I can't even explain. So now I always try to take my 8-minute nap. And so from that point forward, I'm working and the kids are doing craft projects and any chores that they have left to do with the babysitter. So that's usually from like 2 to 4. So I work for an hour or two and then I get the kids ready for date and we go for date night around 4. And so every week my husband takes a child and I take a child. And then we have mom and dad date nights sometimes where one child gets both of us one-on-one. And that's every Monday night. And my kids absolutely love this. And sometimes, we're doing big things. And sometimes it's just that they want to go to the beach and dig in the sand and hang out. And so we go make sandcastles. So it doesn't have to be extravagant, but getting them that one-on-one time with you is so good for their little hearts. And I can't tell you the difference that it's made even in behavior. Like we've seen behavior changes since doing this with our kids. And so we've done it for years. And depending on which kid we have, we're home from date nights from 7:30 to 9. And then I'm usually getting stuff ready for the next day because we have co-ops on Tuesday. And then from 9:30 to 10:30, that's my husband and I's hang time. And so we hang out and we're catching up on the day and we're spending time talking about whatever we need to talk about. And then I'll typically shower and get in the bed by 11. So I'm like a 6 to 7 hour sleep type person. That's where my body is usually good. And so then on Tuesdays, we have the same early morning routine, except I'm not getting ready full throttle. And the difference is that we leave around 9:30 to head to our co-op. So we're usually home by 1:30. I take my 8-minute nap still and then work the rest of the evening because I already have dinner ready and everything laid out for the babysitter to give the kids. Now, on Tuesday nights and other nights that we aren't out for some reason, we have family time that starts at 7. We set a 15-minute timer and everyone has to pick up an assigned area and get as much done in that area as they can. Then we have last call for snack. And then it's, the whole bedtime routine. And then we're reading books. And then, the 3 young ones are all down by 8:30 every night. And so my babysitter does kitchen recovery during this time frame, which helps a ton. And so then from 8:30 to 9, I'll be dealing with, whatever the kids need, making sure they actually go to sleep when I put them in the bed. And I'm getting things done in the house for the next day that I need done. So then from 9 to 9:30, my oldest has hang time. So whichever one of us he's having hang time with, we'll hang out with him and, just invest in him a little bit. And then the other one is doing things that they need to do to get ready. And then the routine repeats itself. So on Wednesdays, I get up and do all the morning stuff with the kids. And then I try to be in my office working by 10 o'clock and I work all day long at that point. So then Thursday is another full throttle and we'll get ready. The routine just kind of repeats itself like Monday up until 4. And my husband and I then have date night. And that's all we do for the rest of the night. It's from 4 o'clock on until bedtime. We're focused on one another and investing in one another. And then on Fridays, we basically have the same morning routine. The only difference is on this day, we normally do like cooking class for our lessons because we're making bread and meals and we're preparing for the weekend. Because on Saturday, we get to rest. And so we have dinner around 6 or so on Friday night, and then we check out basically until Saturday evening or Sunday. So then basically the week repeats like that. And like I said, I'm a spreadsheet nerd, so I keep track of things. So my schedule isn't always the same every week, but generally I'm going to be looking at about 15 hours of time invested in my marriage. And then what I call queen time. And that's like the time of me being the queen of my domain, right? Leading my kids, I'm working in my home and doing things, I'm making meals. And so anything I need to do to steward my home. And so that's generally around 68 to 72 hours, depending on what's going on that week. And then for my work, and I call this my empire building time, and that fluctuates between 22 and 26 hours. And then I have self-care built in, and that's usually 20 to 22 hours a week. And then I'm sleeping the rest of the time of the 168 hours I have to sleep. And so that's what my life looks like on a daily basis. And I hope that was helpful for you, because I know it was helpful for me when I was trying to put a schedule in place. But what I had to realize, the biggest takeaway when I would hear someone share their schedule, is that I couldn't implement what they had. I had to take it and put in place what worked for my family dynamics, because it mattered so much that, I saw them building their $1 million businesses with what they had, but that just didn't work for us. So I had to figure out how to build my $1 million businesses. And I will tell you, that's what changed the game. When we put systems in place properly in our business, and when we put systems in place properly in our home, that's when we started seeing businesses scale to multi-million dollars. That's when the dynamics of everything we were doing started changing. We weren't operating in chaos because God had helped us put order to things through one little nudge. And I will say, a lot of times I get questions about how, can you run so many businesses on 20-ish hours a week? And I'm able to do that because my businesses have systems in place, because I'm not the one running the day-to-day operations in every single business that I own, because, I wrote down procedures so that someone else could actually do it. And it didn't all fall on my shoulders or my husband's shoulders. And so then we put operators in place to manage those. And basically, I only operate at a board level in most of my businesses. I'm only at CEO level in 2 of my businesses, and those are passion projects. So anyway, that's just another tip for you. If you want to get to that place, then that's really where you can start to scale your life to and build generational wealth for your family. So, and I know that if you have questions about this, please reach out. I'm here to answer questions about whatever you have, because my desire is to help other moms and women really grow in who they're supposed to be and fully walk in their purpose. So I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you later. See you next week. Bye.